He woke up in a hospital bed. His clothes were folded beside him, and he was now in a shame-inducing piece of hospital cloth. A nurse walked in and smiled and blushed at him. No one had ever smiled and blushed at him before, and he simply made a weird face that looked like something was wrong with him in response. The nurse was concerned by this and rushed to get a doctor. The doctor came in to see Cadence making a normal face and said, "Nah, he'll be okay," and walked out. Cadence swore he heard them say something about not having insurance, but he couldn't be sure. No one came to check on him for hours. The nurses even changed shifts, and no one came to see how he was. Again, this was normal for Cadence, so he debated just getting up to leave. No one usually noticed him. Maybe he wouldn't have to pay his medical bill. Just then, the beautiful woman from the street poked her head around the curtain. "Dude, I guess you weren't okay, whoa!" She sort of yelled at him, and it reminded him of cherry lollipops. "Did you come to check on me?" Cadence started to say, but then saw the camera crew that followed her in. Cadence was going to ask what was going on, but before he could, the news lady, Garen Himonen, started wailing, "Here he is! We're live with the second date guy from the meme." She shoved her microphone in his face and said, "How do you feel?" All he could think was, "Second date guy? I've never been on a date." And finished the thought aloud with, "Been on a date." "Wow, that must have been a rough one, eh?" she chortled. People don't use the word chortle enough. Not used to talking to people and being on some decent drugs, he started yelling, "I'm bleeding and do not know what's going on!" The woman who had an Instagram leaned in and said, "Chill, dog, you're famous." The news lady and everyone else put on a fake smile and continued to look at Cadence. He looked kind of like a scared dog and an angry dog at the same time. He didn't think of anything to say. Garen siren. "Well, I guess he isn't as funny as his meme. Isn't that a shame, folks? Let's go back to Chuck Charanawanawang." Chuck is not Asian. You're a racist joke for thinking that. The camera crew packed up and left with the newswoman. The woman from the street concluded her relationship with Cadence by saying, "Bummer, I could have been more famous," and leaving his life forever. Even though they lived in a small town, he never would see her again. Much like most of the people you went to school with. Isn't that weird? Cadence was about to think something along the lines of, "Man, maybe I could have had a date," but instead, a different doctor came in and said, "Bro, you've got no insurance. Time to get out." He could have just let Cadence leave normally, but this doctor was jacked and picked up Cadence and carried him to the local bus and then literally threw Cadence into the bus. In his moment of floating through the air, Cadence druggily worried about touching the bus floor, and so he floated again. No one noticed because not only is the bus used to seeing insane things, but they were all on their phone. And the bus driver's mirror didn't see that low. Actually, the bus driver was on her phone too. It turned out, though, that the nurse who initially helped out that day was also having a really bad day herself. She had been in her car since her shift crying and yelling. Not for no reason, but because her asshole boyfriend was breaking up with her. The universe as a whole would agree retrospectively that it was in fact a great day for her, but in the moment it seemed like one of the worst ever. Luckily for her, out of the corner of her eye she saw the doctor throwing Cadence into the bus, and recognized him. Previously, we might have thought, oh, maybe she was just blushing at him because he was on that meme online and she thought he was famous and stuff. But no, she was genuinely attracted to Cadence and followed the bus to help him. It wouldn't be easy.